guys, what's up and welcome back to the Koze channel. For today's video, we're doing another horoscope coffee talk and I have my coffee in tow. So obviously we're doing Aquarius today. I am just going basically along the dates or along the horoscopes as each date kind of hits throughout the years. So today we are drinking a blonde hazelnut latte. I made that up myself. I did not go by the coffee order list that I had from the Capricorn video, only because I didn't really want iced coffee because it was a little cold out, you know? So when I was actually doing some research on the Aquarius and coming up with a coffee order that I felt suited the Aquarius, or suited you if you're out there and you're an Aquarius, I found this little blurb that said, "These trendsetters are intellectual and innovative humanitarians who tend to march to the beat of their own drum. Perhaps upon first glance, they seem much like everybody else, but there's a special flair to these types." So that's kind of why I decided to go with a blonde hazelnut, because a latte is like kind of a standard drink, you know? It kind of seems like everybody else, but when you throw the little spin of putting hazelnut in there, which is just a delicious treat, and blonde roast, it just kind of beats to its own drum, you know? Plus I was just kind of feeling like a blonde hazelnut latte, so I justified that. I'm really excited to talk about Aquarius because I feel like, one, Aquarius is the sign right before Pisces, so obviously I'm amply excited. But two, I share a birthday month with the Aquarius, so I feel extra close to you guys. So the Aquarius timestamp is from January 22nd until February 18th. Now they are a air sign, so their symbol is obviously of air. It's like an upwards triangle with a line through it, which we're going to be doing the tarot readings for, animal spirit tarot reading with you guys at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. So the symbol of the Aquarius is the water bearer, and I initially wanted to have my hair in like the waves because every time I think of Aquarius, I think of just like, not necessarily a mermaid, but definitely like mermaid-ish like vibes, and like, you know, like just carrying the big old barrel of water. And the ruling planet is Uranus. You can't say Uranus without laughing. Their birthstones, which is also really cool, are also amethyst, which is the same for Pisces, so we can actually have some symbolic things in this Aquarius video that are true to their sign. Their flower is the orchid, which I'm a little jealous about because I love orchids. Their key traits are being rebellious, objective, and progressive, and their power color is like a turquoise blue, aka like the color of the water. Some cool Aquariuses you guys might know are Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Oprah Winfrey, and I actually heard a really fun fact the other day when I was on my way to Kingston. I was driving, taking a little road trip with Bentley, and I was actually playing the radio. This is when I was in my old Jeep. My radio system wouldn't hook up to my phone and such, and so I was driving and listening to the radio, and I would play like Russian roulette with the radio. It just became like a new thing in my old Jeep, and one of the stations I stumbled upon actually was talking about zodiacs and such, and they actually said that Aquarius is the highest probable zodiac sign or horoscope to actually become like famous and to be innovative and to basically be known for something, like be known by the world for things. And so I thought that was really cool. So if you're an Aquarius, you have the highest probability of becoming famous, just so you know. And just like for Capricorn, I rounded up a couple things about the Aquarius. Now I'm going to change these coffee talks just a tinge from the first one with the Capricorn. So instead of basically just listing off a bunch of things about Aquarius, I thought it would be cool instead, since they're coffee talks themed over zodiacs, that we would take some of the traits of each zodiac and basically turn it into a coffee talk like I do any other coffee talk, where it's kind of like more, you know, pep talk, inspirational, like we're sitting and having a coffee and discussing basically the theme or the idea of things and how we can use a lot of these key traits in our own lives. Because realistically, I mean, there is like no real science to zodiacs and like horoscopes and such. I hope I'm not offending anyone when I say that, but I just mean that no matter what, you can pull inspiration off of them. So that's what we're gonna do today, and I'm gonna let you guys in on today's coffee talk topics. So when I was doing my research about Aquariuses, a lot of the things that was coming up about them is that they tend to be a little rebellious, and the Aquariuses that I know do have that kind of like streak in them where it's almost just like a fun rebellion. It's almost like an enlightened rebellion. Like it's not in the sense of wanting to self-destruct, but in a way of almost just being like so thrilled about life, I guess, in a way. And so when I think about Aquariuses and like the things that we can actually learn from that type of personality type is to basically become super fixed on our goals in a way that almost like going for crazy goals feels almost rebellious. Like you almost get that kind of high off of seeing just what you're capable of and what you're able to do on this earth. And I think that that is something that is such a cool mindset to take into trying to accomplish anything in this life, because if you're going at it with like an almost rebellious attitude, like we talked about this too in the plan with me, where it was almost like a be extra just to see if it works. I feel like that's very Aquarius. That's very like, just go for it. Like who freaking cares? Like even if you fail, it's a wild ride. And I feel like that's such a cool way to look at life, and almost like a good way to be rebellious, or an expansive way of kind of channeling your inner rebel. And if you were to look at your goals as black and white, and when we do tend to look at our goals as black and white, we get bored. We get tired of doing the same mundane routines and all this such. And so the only way to almost kind of like create that little zest in the things that we know we have to do to get to where we want to be is to put the rebellion spin on it. I feel like in today's world, like we're told what is meant to be normal. We're told what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to be like, what we're supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like Aquarius, in a way, or channeling the idea of what it means to be an Aquarius, is almost like, what would it mean to stand in our independence and to stand in exactly who we are unapologetically, but not necessarily in a way that is like demanding to be seen, but just in a way that is like, I am who I am, and I'm going to go for what I'm going to go for, and I'm not going to ask questions. I'm not going to demand anyone need to watch me. I'm just going to see what happens for myself. It makes sense to me when the radio station was saying that Aquarius are the most likely to become like successful and to become famous, because I think that's kind of the trick. It's by going after things and having that sense of flair of almost like adrenaline, I want to say, but doing it from a place that's balanced, not doing it from a place of just like reaction. It's almost like a well thought out adrenaline rush. And doing life that way and going for things that way will make it so that when you do accomplish these goals, or even if you fail, you're like, holy crap, like that was insane. Like you feel the thrill of it, you get the energy from it. And it's not so much maybe about hitting that goal or hitting that end destination, but it's more about going on this like crazy journey along the way and getting almost like your zest from life from that journey. You know who you are more than anyone, and so to let that quirkiness show and to let yourself shine in a way, instead of feeling like there's any reason to hide it, is almost like the little bit of rebellion that comes from being an Aquarius. It comes from just being like, this is me, and I'm just going to accept that. And I feel like in today's world, that is rebellion in the truest form, to completely love and accept yourself and to embrace all the sides of yourself, including your quirkiness, including the weird sides that maybe you don't want everyone to see. I feel like that is one of the strongest rebellions in today's world and in today's age, because I feel like everywhere we look, we're being bombarded with little subliminal messages to make us feel insecure, so that we buy the latest this and that we follow the latest trends. And so I think that when we learn to almost accept who we are and be unapologetic in a very balanced way, that is a rebellion. It's a constructive rebellion in a way that is only known, or is most naturally known, by an Aquarius. Explore new things and try new things with like a hungry mind, with a sense of curiosity and a, if anyone's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it kind of attitude. And I feel like that is the way that we create, like I mentioned, constructive rebellion, or almost like a sense of confidence that comes from just a deep knowing that we could fail or we could succeed, but either way it's going to be fun. I feel like Aquarius, if you're watching this, probably are already thinking like, wow, maybe I already do that. Or if you are an Aquarius and you don't feel like you're doing that, then know that you are the most likely to be able to adapt to these mindsets based on horoscopes. But like I mentioned, we all have a little bit of everything in us. So even though you might not be an Aquarius, like I'm a Pisces, I still think that we can learn a lot of things from the other signs and like the people around us and all of that stuff. So these are mindsets that we can learn from these types of people in our lives, and that we can try and embrace and find and try on for size and see what we like to keep and see what we don't need to give back or put away, because we don't obviously need it for ourselves. But I definitely think that everyone on this earth could take a little bit of, I guess, inspiration from the idea of just willingly believing in yourself and going for life, and not sitting around and like almost complaining that it's stale or complaining that it's bored or not the way that you want. And I think that that is something that is very common, and I think we all do it. I think even Aquarius probably go through times in life where they're like, wow, I'm bored and I don't like this. I don't want to sit still. And it's from there that we're able to either make the choice of to continue to do what we're doing, or to try something brand new with an open mind. And to do the latter, I think, is to embrace our inner Aquarius. In terms of things that we can learn from an Aquarius, the first would be to be more consistent during these times of boredom, because obviously, I mean, it sounds so good in theory to be like, oh, if you're bored, just change your life and go out and chase new things, but it can be also a little destructive, and that is why the whole like being constructively rebellious is important, because that rebellion streak, you don't want it to turn into something where you end up becoming like fickle, where you start projects and you drop them when you get bored, and you don't end up being consistent with your goals or consistent with your time and your energy. So first things first, don't just like jump into being a rebel and then be like basically setting yourself up for disaster to end up with a lot of like unfinished projects or a lot of unfinished thoughts in your life. So definitely consistency, and not letting the weight of things like responsibility keep us from dreaming. And that's exactly what I think Aquarius is really good at, or from the research that I did, sounds like they're really good at, in the sense that they're able to feel the weight of responsibility, and most of the time take that weight and twist it into some kind of fairy tale so that they're able to fall in love with the process of dealing with the problem, rather than feeling the weight of it and feeling the pressure of it. And if you are an Aquarius and you struggle with that, then there's your answer. It's, if you're feeling weighted down by responsibilities, then find a way to twist it into a storyline or a narrative or a fairy tale or a goal or a rebellious act or whatever, to just go for it and get it done and charge at it head on, so that it's no longer weighing you down. Another thing we can learn from with Aquarius is to basically line up our responsibilities so that they end up feeding our souls. So when you look at your life and you're thinking like, all of these responsibilities are, there's no way for me to turn this into a fairy tale every day, well then it might be like a good sign to start weeding out the things in your life that no longer serve you or bring you any sense of purpose. And that can't happen overnight, but I definitely think that if we give ourselves the space of like 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, I like to work in threes. I feel like when you do life that way, it gives you a bit more space to breathe and some time and effort and energy to actually brainstorm ways that you want to change your life, and brainstorm ways that you can end up building your life around responsibility that feeds into a deeper sense of fulfillment and wholeness. And I think that when you do that, that is where that sense of loving your life, like almost like the rebellious act of being in love with your life, is from building your life in a way that everything you end up doing on a daily basis are things that you love to do. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you might be going through phases in your life where you're bored. I think there's only something wrong with not doing anything about it. Once you have that knowledge is your power. It's not your weakness. So if you're feeling any sense of boredom or staleness in any area of your life, or overall, like an overall theme in your life, then I feel like that's a good place to start. I feel like if anything, that's kind of exciting, because it means that there's so much room for change. So throw caution to the wind and ride that Aquarius wave of energy, believing in yourself in a rebellious way, and instead of always looking for the bad, to try and see the things that could go right and the things that are going really good already. And I think that when we do that, we can channel our inner Aquarius. So now I feel like we need to go ahead and move into our animal spirit reading. So if you guys didn't see the Capricorn video, I'll explain really briefly exactly what I'm going to be doing. I pulled 2 of the elements out of my animal spirit deck. So this is the deck that I'm using. It is by the Wild Unknown, and it's animal spirit. It's based on the elements. It's my favorite deck that I own. And for each sign, I'm basically going to pull a animal from their sign for all of us to channel, and then I'm going to pull a spirit card for anyone that is actually the sign that we're doing, and that will be their card for 2019, or at least for their year. So I'm going to pull an air sign, since Aquarius is an air element, and that is going to be our Aquarius symbol for us to channel anytime we need to throughout the year. So everything we basically just discussed about being rebellious, about loving our lives and believing in ourselves and kind of constructing our lives around the things that we love to do and going for it in a way, this is going to be the animal that we're going to channel. So, ooh, we got the moth. I don't think that's a good card. That might not be a good sign. Okay, the moth. This could be a warning. I'm not going to lie. Impulsive, hasty, and wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. So when you're in balance, you're enthusiastic and whimsical, but out of balance, idealizes others and is jittery. And to bring it into balance is to finish a project. Like I said, it could be like a little bit of a warning, but I also actually really like that, because we did discuss a lot of those elements within the coffee talk portion of the Aquarius, is that like finishing projects is really important and consistency is really important. And so I think it's kind of cool that it said practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different, because that was also what we were saying too, to create that like mysterious, like I wonder what's gonna happen, and then going for it with life rather than wishing it was easier or waiting for life to come to us. And then not only that, moths, like it said, when you're in balance, it means you're enthusiastic and whimsical. So when we are pulling on our moth energy, it means that we're being enthusiastic about life and excited about life and believing in the good rather than believing in the things that could go wrong. But we need to work on finishing projects, which I really like that. I feel like that's a good February Aquarius card. So all of us channeling Aquariuses, we're channeling moth energy. And then for all of my Aquariuses that are watching, I'm gonna pull you guys a spirit card. So this is at the end of the deck, and this is like very based on the chakras and all that. I highly recommend this deck. It's amazing. I'll link it down below in case you want it. If you guys are an Aquarius, leave your birthday down below. And happy birthday, by the way. This is honestly my favorite card solely because of the colors. So Aquarius, this one's for you. Speaking from an authentic voice and the truth. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. The living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, and perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, books draw us in, the concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself, and what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things that others want to hear. We gossip or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we may have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It is the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. So the black egg is the 5th chakra, and it says that the subtle essence of this card resides at the base of the throat. The Vajada, if you haven't learned by now, there's big words that I just will never be able to pronounce. Chakra. The ancient sages saw the center of this hub that governs our speech and expression. Vajada translate as especially pure. The balance of this center is important for all of us, but it is especially essential for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers. So all you Aquarius out there, it's time to start speaking your truth this year. That is the mood you guys need going into your next year of solarly circling the sun. I don't know if that made sense, but let's roll with it. So there you go, guys, have it. That was me channeling all the Aquarius vibes today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about the whole idea of being like constructively rebellious or embracing your inner rebel. And if you guys feel like you're gonna channel that vibe this month, tell me what you're gonna do about it down below. I am gonna leave our reading out so that we can pull on them vibes all week. I also really hate that I just said pull on them vibes. And aside from that, I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.